It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. We know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out Podcast, episode 361. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
Hang on, I'm not ready.
No, you said you were ready. You can't go backwards.
I told
now.
you I never said that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Wow, what a liar. What a liar.
This is Tom O'Keefe. Now I'm ready.
Now you're ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was always ready.
You didn't sound ready.
That was just shtick.
Oh, okay.
That's the character I play on the show. But we can reveal to people now that I'm truly the behind the scenes.
Oh, stop.
Genius.
Stop it. Hey, happy birthday, though.
My birthday's in September.
Yes, but the Clip Out's birthday was this week.
I was doing the character again.
Oh.
Yes, happy birthday to us. 7 years.
7 years.
7 years.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
It really is.
How about that?
Yeah. We've been together a long time now.
We have. 7 years in one day. It was a blind date. And I was like, you need to get yourself a Peloton and we'll start a podcast. Hopefully, if someone ever said that to you on a first date, third date, 8th year of marriage, you'd punch them right in the dick.
I'm thinking of a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the guy you're thinking of.
Yeah.
It's not me. Mm-mm. Yeah.
Nah.
So,
I nicknamed him Tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's not around. So.
Well, I would hope not.
Yeah.
Because we're married.
Yeah.
That would be weird if he was. I mean, some people, that's their jam.
Hey, that's cool. If, like, everybody's on the same page.
Right.
You do what you do.
But that's not our page.
No.
No. Do you want to tell him why you call him Tennis?
Which part are you thinking of? Like, is this suitable for a podcast?
When he encouraged you to play tennis.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's, Yep. He thought I needed to be more active.
Yes. I'll buy you a racket.
Yeah.
And put a bow on it.
Mm-hmm.
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 So his nickname is Tennis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is his nickname. I honestly don't even remember what his real name was.
I would have no way of knowing.
Me either. Anymore.
Yeah. But so there's a walk down memory lane for people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been having a problem with your Apple Watch.
I have, yeah. All of a
You're
sudden,
allergic to it.
Well, I wouldn't call it I'm allergic to it. It says that, okay, I had this happen on my Whoop a long time ago where it says that like you basically have like soap or something or sweat or something like that trapped underneath on the little mechanism, the little laser that's always checking all your vitals, right?
Yeah.
Well, they ended up sending me a new Whoop. And then I never had a problem with it again. And so last week I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, why is my wrist burning? And I took off my Apple Watch and in the morning I found that I had a big blister underneath it. And so I washed it all off like with a bleach, like a Clorox bleach
wipe.
And then I wiped it down with water so I wasn't putting like bleach on my skin.
So people are like, well, you have a blister because you poured bleach on your wrist, you dipshit.
Right. In fact, I was like, are you sure? Yeah. But anyway, so then I, wiped it down with water just to make it fresh. And then I left it off for the whole day. And then the blister instantly went away. So then I put the watch back on. And then it was fine for 2 days. And then last night I woke up in the middle of the night with my wrist burning again and another big blister that's bigger than the last one in the center. So I'm wearing it anyway, though.
Oh, you're a trooper.
Well, you keep
getting notifications. You have a blister.
I left my wallet in your car. And I had to go out today. And I was like, I better have something on me that can identify me as a person and be able to pay for something should I need to.
That's true.
I figured at least I could pay for things.
Gotcha.
And then it hasn't been hurting, so I just left it on.
Okay.
We'll see. I'm a little nervous about it.
Can't be severed from the world of Apple.
It's not that. Maybe I just need a new one. It is a version 6. I mean, they're up to 8 now.
You poor thing.
I know. It's It is a real sad story.
So let's do our bingo call out.
Our bingo number 1 this week is Camila Ramon.
There we go. Okay. And who is our guest?
Our guests are Andrea Barber and Jodie Sweetin.
Well, look at that.
Yes.
From the Fuller House and Full House family of shows.
Now, I do have to give you a little heads up. Jodie had to leave.
She bails. I asked a question that she found offensive, and she threw off her headphones and was like, F you and F your podcast.
That's not at all what happened. She actually had a sneezing fit, and then she had a kid emergency.
Yeah.
But here's the really cool part. Because we thought we were just like, okay, we're done. And we just talked to Andrea Barber, who's lovely. Like, we would never say no to that.
Always a blast to talk to Andrea Barber.
Yeah. So then I asked them for pictures for Jodie, because I was like, I just want to make sure I had the right stuff. And they were like, whoa, we're doing another one. And I was like, okay. I won't argue. So in a few weeks, we'll have a Jodie solo as well.
Jodie all by herself.
Yeah.
So I think it was just an elaborate ploy.
Yeah. Jodie just wanted to be by herself. You'd think she was like, Andrea Barber's going to show me
I think it was just an elaborate ploy to get their podcast mentioned on
twice.
2 episodes.
Well, it was effective.
It was. We're pretty simple folk around here. We're like, okay. We saw you on the TV.
Yeah. Really enjoyed both conversations.
Absolutely.
Gosh, Andrea Barber's just so sweet and funny.
Yeah. So what else, pray store, do you have in tell for people? I've been taking muscle relaxers.
I could tell. We're going to tell everyone about these new commercials that Peloton is adding before classes. Yep, you heard me. Also, the Los Angeles resale market has been flooded with bikes, and boy, do people have a lot of comments about that. There's also the new Find Friends feature. And
I already have friends.
Well, but on the bike.
And I'm not on the bike, but I have friends on the bike.
There's Peloton is now acknowledging your Peloversary. That's new.
Okay.
That just came down. New ways to pay off your rented bike. That's new.
Okay.
There's just a lot. There's a lot going on.
That's why you need us.
We also have a visit from Dr. Jenn. We're going to talk about how do you know when you should say this is just where I am? Or you should keep pushing through.
Yeah.
How to find
What's
that
the
balance.
Difference between acceptance and
giving
just
up.
giving up?
Yeah. Plus lots of instructor news and we have a past guest update as well.
Okay. Well, before we get to all that, shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart, wherever you find a podcast, you can find us. While you're there, be sure and follow us, because you don't want to miss any of this. And you can also maybe leave us a review.
That would be nice.
That's nice.
We appreciate you.
You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group. Maybe check out our Patreon, because if you join our Patreon, you help the show, and we definitely appreciate that. It's just $5 a month, and you get all sorts of bonus content every week. We record basically a whole extra episode. They're 25 minutes long of just the stuff that we couldn't cram into this episode. You also, if we get the episode early, you get the episode early. So there's and they're ad free.
Yeah.
So it saves you some time as you're listening to the show. You can also watch these episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/theclipout. And of course, you can sign up for our newsletter at theclipout.com. So there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
Peloton in the news.
We will call this segment Peloton Adds Commercials to Classes, aka Tom is a Genius.
That's not what it says here.
What does it say there?
It says, AKA Tom was right.
Well, I'm right because of my genius.
Yes.
That's actually not fair.
I think you prefer a visionary.
I prefer visionary to genius.
You do.
The genius is so blasé.
Right.
Visionary, truly.
Right.
I had said last week
on the bonus
episode.
Because people are going to be like, I didn't hear you say that.
Yeah. But on the bonus episode, I said when the discussion about private equity entering the marketplace, and I had said, I don't think it'll be just about cutting costs. It'll be finding new revenue streams. And I think one of the easiest new revenue streams to glob onto is to add commercials to the classes. Now, I didn't think they would be so bold, or at least initially, to actually run video commercials. I thought it would be like little banner ads on the screen.
So you weren't right.
So I was right about commercials. I said they got all these eyeballs.
True.
And they have a very hyper specific demographic of eyeballs, right? And that they're going to start advertising.
Yeah. I was surprised it happened so fast. I don't know if that has anything to do with private equity or not.
I think it's more the fact that they listen.
You think?
Yeah. They're a Patreon subscriber,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Yeah, one
I'm
of
sure.
them is lurking.
That's funny.
And they're probably just sharing it. And normally I'd complain, but like seeing where your stock price is at,
Yeah.
like
Maybe take a listen.
like you know, just they don't have the money.
Oh,
like
they can't all log in.
well, yeah, like I mean, our Patreon, a month of Patreon is more than a share of stocks.
Okay, that's true.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, that's sad. But it's fascinating though, because, you know, a while back they started doing this thing where they would have like you could shop the looks here
right.
at the end of class. And then that just went away.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if like A/B testing said, don't do that. Well, then they thought, like, I guess because people are so in love with the instructors, maybe if they have them do
Right. It won't feel as much like a commercial.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, it's Cody.
Yeah. So they call it like the Look TV or something like, I don't know, something like that. The Look Book or Look Video. I don't know. It was dumb. Sorry, but it was. And then Cody like danced around a lot wearing different clothes. The more I watched it, the more it irritated me.
Well, it is one of those things where like the first time you see it, it's kind of like when we do a show at the arena for a comedian.
Yeah.
They send you the commercial that you have to buy.
Right.
Like they have a pre-cut spot and then they just drop in the different venues. And so for a comedian, the first time you hear the commercial, they put in a couple jokes and you're
Right.
like, oh, okay.
That's funny.
And then like the 45th time you've heard that commercial.
Like, oh my God.
You're like, stop it.
Yes.
You're
yes.
not funny.
It's fair. And I did watch it over and over because I'm not great at making reels. So it required a whole lot of patience and
Right.
I had to keep looking at it.
Yeah.
But so in my defense, or in the defense of the commercial,
You saw
rather,
it a lot more times
more times
in a short period of
Yeah.
time than is intended.
Yeah. But it's interesting because we were talking, and I said this in the little video I posted, that we think that they're going to like get people used to seeing Lululemon and Peloton clothes and then just slowly pivot.
Yeah, like this is probably a good way to test.
Yeah.
Does the insertion work properly?
Right?
I said insertion.
Yes, you did.
But because you know you want to make sure that they're all working before you actually start charging people.
Right.
And so that these are probably really ultimately more like promos than true ads.
Agreed.
But yeah, like once that's working, then they can start dropping in different things. And
Yeah.
you could you maybe even
then they'll have inventory.
Right. And you'll probably even see that like, oh, if you take a Spanish language class, maybe you'll get a Spanish language ad. Or
But then
you're-
you got to ask yourself, who's going to do the ad reads for these? And
Yeah.
if they're going to do, and then do the instructors get a cut of that? Like it's a whole lot of questions.
and they might just run pre-produced spots, the same things you see on TV or in front
That's
of a
true.
YouTube
That's
video.
very true.
And so like, yeah, if you're doing a Bon Jovi artist series, you'll see an ad for the new tour.
Yeah.
Or maybe you'll see an ad for a different artist that's similar. Like, oh, you're taking the Bon Jovi class, we'll show you the Aerosmith concert tour ad.
Well, hopefully they will be targeted in that way, that it's thoughtful about what they're going to be, and not just like there's a Windex commercial that I'm watching right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like something that applies in some way that I can make it make sense to what I'm watching.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Absolutely. It will be interesting to see.
It will. We'll keep you updated.
The Los Angeles resale market, Peloton resale market, has been flooded with bikes.
It sure has. And it's interesting because when we posted this article today, lots of people weighed in. They're seeing the same things in their markets
Right.
as well. So the question is, people have very strong opinions about this. One, is it because Peloton looks like any second it's going to go under? That's what some people say. I am not of the opinion Peloton is going to go under. Like, let me be clear.
I don't think Peloton is going to go under. Like, I'm not saying they won't be restructured.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going away. It's too big of a brand to just go poof. My apologies to our UK listeners. I think that's a slur, but it's not over here. But also, like, I don't know that. Why would you get rid of it now? I mean, I guess if you thought like, oh, it'll be worthless.
Yeah.
But I don't think people are thinking like that. I just think some people are done with it.
Well, and then some people are saying that they're just bored with it, you know, and with the changing of the company, they're just ready for something new. They don't like the feel of the company anymore. Some people are saying, well, it's because they have new equipment. They got a Tread Plus or they got a Bike Plus or, you know, something like that. And I think it's possible those last two are combination. I don't think that it's necessarily any one thing. Nothing ever is. Yeah. Right. But yeah, usually. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure how to interpret that. I think it's maybe a lot of people that bought it during the pandemic and they're finding they're just not using it as much. The old clothes hanger canard.
I mean,
we hear all the time.
We've certainly noticed that like the loyalty of the brand of Peloton has changed over the year. The engagement level of Peloton has changed
as
over
it
the
grows and becomes less niche. It's not going to have the same
rabid fan base,
lavish loyalty that it did at the beginning.
Right. There's still people like us.
For sure.
But there's also just like the casual user who shockingly does not care about any of what we talk about. It is shocking to me. Like, they're just like, whatever, it's a business.
But like, that's kind of how I like use my tonal.
I know.
It's like I work out, I'm done with it.
It's just, and there are a lot of brands I feel that way about. Yeah. But like, to me, Peloton and tonal are both very different. In my mind, they're special.
And I love having a tonal.
I know you do.
Like, I'm not disparaging it. It's just, but I don't like exercise. I do it because I
for me, it's a difference of the community, because really it's the community that got me completely immersed in this world.
Yeah. Well, it will be interesting to see if this levels off. I mean, we almost have to, right? People are going to sell their bikes and then be done.
But then what happens? That's the real question.
Well, I guess if you think about it, if somebody sells a used bike, it's really kind of an exchange in terms of like the membership level should stay comparable, right? If 1 million people sell 1 million bikes to 1 million new people, then you lose 1 million subscribers and you gain 1 million subscribers.
That's true.
You might even see a slight uptick because some of those people might have already canceled.
That's true.
And then they finally got around to getting rid of the bike. So
we shall see.
We shall see
what comes out.
The Find Friends feature has rolled out.
It has. Now, I have to give a caveat to OG the Fred. Okay. Because the Fred said that he thought perhaps this used to be a thing a long time ago, and then they stopped it for privacy reasons. I don't recall that, but as I told Fred, my brain is not to be trusted as much as it used to be. And I couldn't find any documentation backing that up, but I would never put anything past it.
Right.
However, to be clear, as far as I know, up until this point, you could only search for a person by leaderboard name. You couldn't search for them by their real name.
Gotcha.
And now you can. So Peloton is claiming that they are doing this so that they can encourage the community, that they can bring more members together. Now, that makes sense because there are a lot of people that I've met in real life and I have no idea how to find them. Yeah. Because I only know them by their leaderboard name, which I may not be able to spell or remember.
Yeah, because so many people have to spell leaderboard names in a weird way, or they throw in an underscore instead of a dash. Or
Exactly. Yeah. It can get complex. So that is the gist of it. But it also goes on to be like, if you have a contact in your phone, you can then search for people. Like, let's say you have my email address.
Okay. You have never given it to me, but
let's just say you had it.
Hypothetically. Right. Let's say you would share that.
Right. If I were to share it, then you could then, when you look for contacts, when you use the app to look for contacts, it would then say, hey, this email address is connected to a person that you might know. And then you can load. That's a way for you to find more people using Peloton.
Right.
I feel like these are not giant ordeals, but the big thing is that there might be people who don't want to be found. And even if you're on private mode, they can still find you unless you opt out of this feature. It is easy to opt out of. You just go to your settings and opt out of it. But if that is important to you, you do need to opt out. You are automatically in otherwise,
Right.
unless your last name is not filled in. So if you just have, like, if I just had my profile as Crystal and I
Right.
didn't have O'Keefe, then people couldn't find me. But if
Right.
I have Crystal O'Keefe, they can find me if they search. The only thing I personally opted out of was the contact search, just because there are a lot of people that have my email address, like a lot of people, just because I'm so public about what all the things we're doing.
Right.
And I don't really think everyone needs to have all of my information.
Right.
Like, but if they really wanted to find me, they could have found me
But
anyway.
didn't you set up your bike with your other email address?
Yeah, I was going to leave that out for convenience, but that is
Gotcha.
true.
Sorry.
I was just trying to be simplistic.
Exposed.
Exposed. Oh no.
Well, if you don't want people to find you, if you're on the lam and the federal witness relocation program,
I just think people need to know that even if you're private, people can still find you. I just
Absolutely.
feel like that's an important information
it
to have.
absolutely is, because there are people out there who maybe have stalkers or whatnot.
Right. Or that are like famous. There's a lot of famous people that
Absolutely.
use this platform. And like, what if they had their whole name in there and they didn't see this information?
Right.
They didn't check their email. They don't know that they need to go do this.
Yes.
So yeah, go check your settings.
check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's what I say.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Mike Sarantino.
So Peloton now acknowledges your Peloton Anniversary.
Yeah, this is new. This has never been done. Now, whenever it's time for you to log into your special ride, it tells you. If you say, I'm going to be taking this class, they recognize that is your Peloversary ride.
There's your shout out.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Good enough.
Yeah. Look. That's Peloton's way of saying, okay, look.
We can't do all the things.
We can't say it for everybody. Just calm down.
I just thought that was an interesting little
I wonder if you'll start
change.
seeing it for other things.
Well, they do it for your milestones.
What about like your birthday?
I don't recall seeing it for birthday, but like when it's your 500th ride, they'll be like, it's time for your 500th ride.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. Except they don't do it in a sing-songy voice with a little... They need to have a little emoji.
A little emoji of you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
People being like, who is this lady?
Yeah, who is this person?
Why is she here on my bike? Well, at least she's not trying to sell me Lululemon.
Zing.
There is now a new way to pay for your rented bike.
Yeah, if you want to buy it out, you can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, a credit card, or Affirm. Prior to this, it was only a credit card or Affirm. I just thought that was interesting.
Huh.
It's a very simple change.
Yeah.
But notable.
I wonder, like, one, why the change? Two, why not before?
I suspect it has to do with like terms and conditions and percentages and things like that.
That makes sense.
But I don't know. That's
Yeah.
just a guess.
Gotcha. Well, if you're renting a bike, you have new options.
Yep.
Peloton is hosting a Lululemon Members Weekend
Yeah.
at PSNY.
So you might be wondering, how do you become a Lululemon member?
I'm thinking you give them money.
You have to go sign up on the Lululemon website.
Okay.
But for $35, you can be in front of a Peloton instructor and Lululemon ambassador with in-person classes. Like there's going to be a group run. There's going to also be a meet and greet and a wrap party. It sounds awful lot like Homecoming, or I'm sorry, Peloton on Tour, whatever it was last year. And this is going to be taking place the first weekend of June 7th and 8th. And registration opened today. And my understanding is, and listen, the person that I'm talking about, I'm not going to name names.
Name names.
Well, I just don't want her to feel like I'm blasting her business because I didn't specifically
Gotcha.
ask about it. But one of the tipsters, one of the TCO tipsters,
Yes.
she always gets all of the things. Like when she gets this kind of notification, she wants to go.
Yeah.
She's going to sign in and she's going to get on all the lists. She's really good at it.
Right.
No special favors, by the way.
Yeah.
She's just good at it. Well, she only got into one thing. It sold out so fast that she got into one thing. And there were several classes available.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I thought so. So the group run is going to, they're going to have a group run that's going to be a 3-mile run. It's going to be through Hudson Yards, and Rebecca Kennedy is going to be leading it. There was a Lululemon gift bag valued at over $175,000. Whoa.
What?
Just $175.
Okay.
I got real excited.
That's like...
I added zeros where none should be. My bad.
$175.
Right.
That's a
whole outfit.
That's like 2/3 of a pair of leggings.
But it's waiting for you at the finish line.
They're like capri leggings.
And that particular class was only $50. The meet and greet for, there was a meet and greet that they had one for Chelsea Jackson Roberts, Cody Rigsby, and Kendall. That was going to have that gift bag as well. That was only $50. And then there were going to be several classes. I saw one that was like a hit run with Logan Aldridge, $35. There was a yoga flow called Camp Yoga Flow with Ross. That was $35. And then there was going to be a row with Katie Wang and a Hit and Hills ride with Emma, and each of those were $35. There was a bunch of stuff. Those are just some highlights, but I thought that was very interesting. And what does it mean for the Peloton on Tour / Homecoming? Will there be one? Because like by this time last year, they had already started getting the word out.
Right.
Not the details.
Yeah.
But like getting they'd piqued to the interest.
Yeah.
Nothing. So I don't know what that means.
I think that maybe they're not.
Well, I mean, that's what I landed on. But then I see this and I'm like, well, why are they doing that?
This is really more just like a promotional thing. Like
True.
Classes they were going to do anyway, but they're doing some time with Lululemon and taking care of their P1 customers. And, you know.
That's true.
So I wonder if my guess is you will see more of this as a way for brands to have fan engagement. You know, like I could see in Athleta. Is that how you say it?
Yes, it is.
I don't know.
Yeah, that would be cool.
You know, but
I feel like it's different with Lululemon because of their partnership agreement and like because Peloton is producing all the content for the Mirror. I just feel like it's more of a...
Yeah, but I also could see it being a starting point.
That's true.
Like we'll try these with Lululemon, and if we don't like the feel, then we don't have to do it again. But if it works well, we can start looking, you know, to sell these to other corporations for brand engagement.
Interesting theory.
Another revenue stream.
I'm with you. I got it.
Because I don't know if you knew, but last week I had predicted that Peloton would start showing commercials.
Okay, so if you get to do that every time you're right, then basically, I mean, we should have this recap of all the times I was right every episode. So this could take a while if this is what we're going to do.
Are we still talking about Peloton?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mostly that's about all the people who are haters out there who like to downplay the things that I get right and they think they're better. That's a whole nother story. I don't really feel like being catty right now.
Although kind of low-key were.
Yeah, a little bit.
There was a major outage this week for Peloton.
There was. Yeah, they couldn't check out at onepeloton.com. They just couldn't buy things.
That's a problem for revenue streams.
It seems like it.
They should probably add commercials to offset the loss of revenue.
Check.
Now I got to watch 2 commercials.
I only mention this because there's outages all the time. I only mention this because it was like the middle of the day yesterday and it was still going this morning. That's a really long time for a major outage.
That is a long time.
I also thought it was interesting that like at the top of their status page, they always say like what the outages are. And when I went to the page this morning, it still said major outage in like their page that you can see here. But at the top of the page, it didn't say there was an outage. And I also thought it was worth noting that it said no incidents or maintenance are related to this downtime. And it was just like, so what does that mean? It's a non-issue issue? Like what? Tell me in real words, what does that mean?
I think the outage had gone on so long, they just made their peace with it. They're like, well, this is just how it is now.
This is just how we live.
This is the world we live in.
Well, there you go. That's that.
Peloton in court. Who's suing Peloton now?
As the sweeper should have told you, there's a new Peloton lawsuit. But wait.
This is a twist.
This is a twist. Peloton is suing someone. It's not Peloton being sued.
I know. It's shocking.
Is this the first time that's ever happened?
Well, there was that guy that stole from Peloton.
Was that a suit or an arrest?
Maybe both.
There was a million years ago, like probably, we've been around for 7 years, so probably like 6.5 years ago.
Yeah, it was early.
Very early in. One of their, well, like, I don't know, I wouldn't say executives, but pretty high level person was caught stealing money from the company.
Super awkward.
Because they just kept it all in they had just had a till in the drawer up front back then. And he got arrested and sentenced to the jail.
Yeah. Yeah, he went to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we don't even have to say allegedly.
No, he definitely went to jail.
Yep.
So, but I don't remember Peloton. I mean, I know
there was also that
there have been
time
times they like countersued.
Yeah. Well, there was also that time that the guy who tried, well, I guess that would be a countersuit. The guy who tried to say that Peloton, like, that he had come up with the idea for the bike.
Oh,
and that,
yeah.
You know, that got real convoluted. So I'm not sure who exactly sued who. I just know he was evil. That's all I know.
Allegedly evil.
Well, he had villain in his name.
No, that is fair.
So, I mean, he put it out there on Front Street.
Yeah. Well, or his parents did.
That's true.
Comes from a long line of villains.
Allegedly.
No,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a long line.
But I think this is the first time that it's been like just, we're suing.
So they're suing Felxport for D&D issues. So apparently Barry McCarthy wanted to be a wizard.
No.
But they said he had to be a paladin, but it was like a level 2 paladin, which means he would have to roll a natural 20 whenever he fought an orc. And like, that's just not even achievable.
Honey, so, I love you as a nerd, but even for me, that was too much. Too much. Like you went hard.
That
was hard nerd.
Is that not what the suit was about?
No.
Oh.
You know, Nikki is great about putting things in here. Actually, this is written by Naja. My bad. This is Naja. Naja wrote this, and she even has like an explanation in here. D&D charges are the logistics industry's way of saying, hey, you didn't pick up or return your container on time, so we're going to have to charge you for hogging our space.
So that's basically what I said.
Right.
I was right again.
So here's the thing, though. Back in the day, during the old
supply chain
fiasco,
kerfluffle.
Yeah. Well, they couldn't get to their stuff. So Peloton is claiming that these are unjustifiable costs, that they're taking the grievance to the Federal Maritime Commission.
Ooh, maritime.
I know. I didn't know there was maritime law anymore, really. I thought they just made it all law.
We still got oceans. For now.
Okay.
No, wait, we'll have nothing but oceans.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The oceans are safe. They're too safe. We need to attack the oceans.
Oh my God, people are getting so triggered right now. So they want reparations for the financial strain these alleged mishaps have caused. And they are leaning heavily on the newly passed Ocean Shipping Reform Act.
Ooh. So they're making new maritime law.
They are.
Take that, ocean.
Yeah.
Getting all high and mighty over there.
Yeah.
We'll knock the foam right out of you.
And by the way, D&D, in this case, stands for demurrage and detention.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay. Oh.
And coming up after this, well, if you're a Patreon subscriber, the show will just roll right along. But for everyone else, you will have Dr. Jenn, and she's going to explain the difference between accepting where you are and giving up. So stick around.
Getting the psychological edge with Dr. Jenn.
Joining us once again with the magic of ZoomTube is Dr. Jenn Mann, licensed marriage, family, and child therapist and sports psychology consultant. She was also a 5-year national team member in rhythmic gymnastics and sports psychology for USA Gymnastics. It's Dr. Jenn. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
We have a question from Shannon Rogers. She says that no matter how much she works out, she cannot lose weight. She's tried everything in regard to diet, and she can't get lower. But the concerning part to her is that when she takes a break from exercise, then she adds 5 to 10 pounds instantly. She also wants you to know that for what it's worth, she's 30 pounds higher than what she was in 2019. So this is not something that's happened quickly. Like, it's been a little. So the question is, what kind of thoughts do you have about where is the line between accepting where you are and continuing to work on yourself?
I think it's a great question. And I think there are a few things that jump out. first of all, you always want to rule out anything physical. If you suddenly have a big weight gain, or even over the period of time where you're doing the same things but getting really different results, you want to check in with your doctor. You want to, and now keep in mind, a lot of the time doctors blow off stuff like this. And it's really important. Usually we tend to, as women, start with the gynecologist, but you may want to get a referral to an endocrinologist. You may want to get other referrals, but typically when something like this happens, gynecologists, endocrinologists are kind of the first line of defense, or a general practitioner. And you want to find out, is there something going on in terms of like your endocrine system, your metabolism? And also the other thing that, I don't know Shannon's age, but menopause can also kind of slow things down metabolically for a lot of women. So I think that's important to look at as well. And then also, are you on any new medications? There are some medications that people don't realize are linked to weight gain. And I think people a lot of the time point to birth control pills. For some people, it doesn't do anything with the weight. For other people, it creates weight gain. Hormones, like there are all kinds of medications that do have side effects that are important to look at. Lithium, there are some antidepressants where, like, I have a girlfriend who, she took one antidepressant and lost a ton of weight, and then another girlfriend who took the same antidepressant and gained a ton of weight. So you also want to look at how your particular body responds to these things and really involve your doctor to rule out these kinds of things. Oh. So then let's say you go to the doctor, you go to the endocrinologist, you talk with anyone who's prescribing medication, and everything has been ruled out. And everything is fine, your metabolism is fine, your health is fine, no medications are causing this. Then I really think you have to look at working on acceptance. And that we have these ideas about how our body should look, and about kind of what society thinks is attractive in a woman or in a body, and kind of these cultural standards that aren't necessarily realistic. And it's very possible that maybe you were at an unhealthy low weight for a long period of time that you got used to, and now this is your more natural weight. Or it's possible that just kind of where you are in your life and your age, that this is kind of where your body's set point is. And then after that, it becomes up to you to figure out what is reasonable for me. Like, if you're exercising and then you stop exercising, you're gaining 5 or 10 pounds, like, how much exercise are you doing? Is the amount of exercise you're doing, is it reasonable? Or is it just that your body responds so well to exercise that it kind of keeps your metabolism going for a long time after, as the studies say that it does, and that it's really healthy, and that even if your weight wasn't an issue, that you would be exercising like this because you want to live a long time, you want to make sure that you fight various different diseases. So I think that you want to kind of look at the big picture of this and work on some self-acceptance.
Awesome. That's a lot to unpack.
It is, yeah. And
Yeah.
I still think it's a difficult line to walk, because you need to take care of yourself physically, but you also need to accept you're in a different phase of your life. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for all of that. Until next time, where can people find you?
You can find me on all social media at Dr. Jenn Man, 2 N's on Jen, 2 N's on Man.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Instructors in the news.
It's going to be a roller coaster in the
Yeah.
instructor news, because we have really good news, we've got really sad news. So we will start with the good news.
Okay.
And that is Katie Wang got engaged.
And it was the cutest engagement. She just looked so shocked.
Cutest, so ours is no longer the cutest to you? Hers is cuter? Ours is second? Is that what you're saying?
But she's so cute. And the picture that they got, she was like, and she was just adorable. It was so cute. But then she had her ring on. So like, when she did that, it was like this big old ring. Yeah. So she got engaged. Congratulations.
Congratulations. And congratulations on your engagement apparently being cuter than Crystal's engagement.
You know
to
why?
me.
Because ours was the most romantic. Not everybody gets engaged to at an actual castle.
Well, a lot of people do.
There's a lot that don't.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay.
All
right. With a glass slipper. I mean, it's pretty cool.
I didn't know you had all these different categories for how you judged.
Well, that's what you get for assuming.
Engagements. I wish I had known that before I proposed. I would have tried to check more boxes for you.
You didn't ask. I loved your engagement. Please do not
I know.
Okay.
And I love that you said yes. So now on to some sad news.
Oh.
Susie Chan's father has passed away.
Yeah, and it's always hard when you lose somebody close to you. I just feel like this one was like even doubly, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if you can say it's worse or not, but it struck me as it'll be more memorable for her, and not in a good way, because it happened the day before her birthday.
Yeah, so it's like tied to another major event where you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and I say that as a person who has experienced that.
For sure.
It's just like you go through the joy of like your birthday, but then there's this other thing that you constantly is just weighing on you.
Yeah.
You know, it makes it hard to enjoy.
Fortunate in that, had air quotes around that, but in that, like, both of my parents passed, but they died on dates that really weren't close to like a significant
it wasn't
event,
like
where it's
2 days before a birthday or
it's
2
like,
days before Christmas
Eve, or like nothing like that. So, and as my parents, I should also say, they both died of shame.
Stop. Dr. Jenn would be so upset by that.
So Erik Jager is gearing up for the second Social Sports Day.
Yeah, and I don't recall. I kind of thought this had already taken place.
So it had. I translated the post.
Okay.
And then I drilled down a little bit. So apparently they did a Social Sports Day back in October, and that's what this clip is from that he has on the Instagram.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But they're also doing one, I think, in June.
Okay,
or
I
July.
got it. All right.
And so they were using that footage to promote the one coming up.
And you're right. It takes place on July 7th. So, and it'll be taking place.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said you were right.
Okay, just making sure.
Again.
I'm sorry, my headphones are weird today.
Do I get to repeat all the times I'm right then? Because I feel like it happens a lot and I get zero credit for it. Anyway, this does take place on July 7th, and it's going to be taking place at the Social Hub in Berlin. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Do we know what it is?
Not exactly.
I went to see what Social Hub was, and it was something like work, play, blah blah, and I was like, I don't understand what they're telling me.
I honestly don't either, but I'm going to do some more research on this because Erik did another video. I wanted to get an article written about it, but we just kind of ran out of time. By the way, if anybody's interested in writing for the website, we have some places open. Like we need some help.
Yeah.
Particularly daytime people during the week. But as a side note, the video that they had more details about it. Like he went into it, but it was a video and I couldn't just translate, so it was going to require a process.
AI
and
hasn't gotten there quite yet.
I didn't know how to do that quickly. So I didn't get to know all the details.
They are working on it. I saw a sample video. It was really cool and it's scary, but they were showing like how news people, like news outlets could take like interviews with people, like they're like, say there's this natural disaster in France, and they would take the footage and run it through this AI filter, and then they would take this French guy being all Frenchy, and then it would translate it into English in an approximation of his own voice, and hang on, here's where I'm going to blow your mind. It would on the fly change
the shape of his mouth,
how his mouth looked, so it even looked like he was saying it.
Well, that's a game changer for movies.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Oh, it's only a matter of time for Netflix starts doing that.
Yeah, for sure. If they're not already.
Yeah.
Ugh,
We watch a lot of foreign shows that have been dubbed. They're not.
Okay, that's fair.
We bailed on that one. It was so bad.
Oh, it was so bad, and it should have been so good.
It was. It was like a true crime thing, and then we were like, "This is hot garbage." But like, what is happening? So we just went to Wikipedia, and the Wikipedia entry was like
fascinating.
It was like 45 pages long.
You read and read and read.
I was just like, holy cow.
Yeah,
I wish the show had been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of it?
No.
Because all I can think of is that other one we're watching right now, and because it was something case, but it wasn't the one we're watching right now.
I don't remember.
Sorry.
But hey, coming up after this, we're going to have the latest artist series for you. So, and it's one you will have actually heard of.
Peloton artist collaboration.
The newest artist series features Justin Timberlake.
Yep.
Sweat Me a River.
They're going to bring sexy back.
Well, he put out his new album, and I don't think it brought anything back. It tanked hard.
So I shouldn't tag JT in this promo?
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's got a
Want me to
lot.
do another take where we say great things?
No, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, in all seriousness, like, I always feel bad for artists because, like, I've said this to you so many times, like, they'll play these amazing, they'll have these, like, really long careers, and then all of a sudden, like, there's just a day where, like, nobody cares.
Yeah.
And it just makes me so sad for
flips
them.
a switch. And it's difficult as somebody who books bands.
Yeah.
Because, like, I see I can go through and see, like, bands that played our building, and, like, Def Leppard played our building before I started working there in, like, 2004, and they sold, like, 5,500 tickets.
That's
and
crazy.
the idea that Def Leppard would only sell 5,500 tickets today is, like, ludicrous.
Yeah.
And it's just, sometimes bands just, people need to forget about it so then they can remember it again.
Then they get excited
and
again.
have nostalgia.
It has some freshness again in a different
so
way.
I think he's in that period.
I'm sorry.
Maybe I'll try and book him.
Okay.
I can afford him now.
Ouch.
Definitely don't tag him. Because he won't take the offer.
Poor Justin Timberlake. Anyway, it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a shame. He's had some PR issues, and it's because he's super talented, and it was always great when he was on SNL. He would pop yeah. We shall see. It'll be interesting to see how this progresses.
It will.
Checking out the competition.
So last week I was appalled at the notion
Oh, we remember.
of what was it, a $40,000 a year like wellness package
Yes.
for people. I believe I said that
It was gross.
That was gross.
You said that multiple times, and you were really upset about
and I
it.
think I might have said that they were not good people.
You did. You did. More than once,
Yes.
as a matter of fact.
Well,
not to be outdone.
yes, not to be outdone, we now have a $10,000 per month wellness club. I guess
See, now it's a deal. Now $40,000 a year sounds like
now
a
it's
deal.
for the middle class.
There you go.
Yeah, and we should say thanks to Courtney Castle Brinkerhoff for pointing this out to us. She posted in the Clip Out group.
Yeah, she was like, how about this one, Tom?
Yeah, like holy cow, $120,000 a year for what?
Well, they don't have. Continuum Club doesn't have personal trainers. We call them human performance specialists.
Oh, we gave them a fancy name, so they're worth all that much more money.
Oh, good God. That's disgusting.
It got grosser.
It did get gross. Yeah, it's not a gym. They prefer wellness
It's a
social club.
James.
Can I also say these guys look like such bro douchebags?
Yeah.
It's not helping the image of any of this. But you know what? Go get your money, man.
Yeah.
If people are buying it,
Sure.
go for it.
Yes.
I mean, hey, there is a wait list to get in this thing.
My goodness.
That's how much money people have. You know, if people shared, can you imagine?
You have too much money.
Yeah.
You officially have too much money. I'm not anti-capitalism, but
No,
you, sir,
neither.
or madam, have too much money.
Yeah.
New content.
So our bingo for this segment is...
Kira Michelle.
There you go. Okay, it is time for the TCO Top 5. We asked you to tell us your favorite classes of the week, and then thankfully you answered because there would just be like 95 seconds of silence here otherwise. So here we go. Number 1, your favorite Peloton yoga class.
This is the new Creating Space Yin Yoga series with Kira Michelle, and specifically her class that she taught with Dennis Morton on 5/15. Kelly Quirk Caperly said that Kira's honesty about living with depression was so refreshing, and Barbie Fisher agreed, saying that Kira was so honest with her own mental health struggles. And also, Courtney Marissa said that she hadn't really connected with Kira before as an instructor, but she loved how honest and real Kira was during this class. I love Kira because of that exact reason. Like, she is so real about her struggles. It's easy to connect with.
Gotcha. Number 2, your favorite Peloton ride.
Yeah, so the 2-for-1 Mother's Day ride with Jess King and Robin Arzon that took place on 5/11 Mother's Day was a big favorite among the TCO crew. Danette Royal Giles said the playlist was perfect and it featured songs by and about mothers. The interaction between Robin and Jess was poignant without feeling performative. That's a tough line to walk.
That is a difficult line to
especially for
walk.
two ladies with big personalities like
Yeah.
that. And it was also a serious workout. So it had Man, I Feel Like a Woman. So I probably will never take that class.
I hate that song so much.
So much.
Yeah. Number 3 favorite Peloton run.
This was the same day, 5/11, an EDM ride with Bex Gentry. Tina Buon, also known as What's Up Chicken Butt, love that leaderboard name.
That's a good one.
Said it was her favorite class last week. She woke up feeling like not doing anything, but this class got her pumped. Loved the playlist. Thankful to Peloton for keeping her going.
Number 4 favorite Peloton stretch class.
We're going back in the old time capsule for this one. May 26th of 2021. If you like the sound of this, go take it before it gets taken out of the inventory.
Yes.
The Mood Full Body Stretch Calm with Maddie Magiacomo. Amanda Marie Morris said she took the stretch with Maddie and she just really needed it that day. It was soothing, comforting, and relaxing, and it made her tear up. And sometimes a good cry is what you need.
Okay. Number 5, your favorite unstackable.
All right. I guess I'm not shocked by this. Sims 60, as it has been rebranded, was a full body, and any class with just Sims is going to be tough, but particularly 60 minutes of boot camp. Jessica Sanford said it's not for everyone because it was hard AF, but she loved it. So there you go.
Well, let's take a look at what's coming up this week at Peloton.
Well, we talked last week about how Peloton had the 20 million minutes of community movement coming up, and that is going to be happening on Saturday, May 18th. There's also the Mariachi Yoga Flow, which is going to be taking place Wednesday, May 15th. That's going to be 6:30 p.m. Eastern, and that's when it's dropping. It's a premiere class, and that is with Mariana Fernandez. And then there is a Bollywood Slow Flow.
That's different.
It is different. Well, so is the Mariachi one, actually.
Oh, that's fair.
That one is with Aditi Shah, and it's going to be to the sound of old Bollywood films in a special class she co-created with her father. How cool is that?
She should have saved it for June for Father's Day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well.
Now I've disappointed
Well,
you.
I wonder why it was this month. Like, did it have is there like a mother's like slant to it? I wonder.
Or is there something going on in like the Indian Bollywood community?
That was all the math I was doing. Well, at any rate, if you want to take this class live, it's going to be Thursday, May 16th. So it will have already been out before you hear this, but you can take it on demand. And then there's also going to be beginner boxing. So this is a great place for you to learn what shadow boxing is all about. And Rad Lopez is doing a 30-minute beginner shadow boxing class that's also going to be live this week on the 14th. So it'll be on demand when you hear this.
Mother's Day was just this past Sunday. Hopefully you didn't forget.
I hope not.
Yeah.
Well, some people want to forget. Some people, it's a sad day.
That's fair. But Peloton celebrated Mother's Day.
They did. They put together a lot of different classes. There were, 5, 10, 14, 17 different Mother's Day classes.
Holy smokes.
And they are taking place throughout the month. Some of them were like on Mother's Day. Some were dropped on demand. So there was kind of a variety. But if you didn't get a chance to take these, I just wanted to point out that like you can take them besides just Mother's Day. There's a lot of different ways to celebrate.
Yeah.
Or if you have a complicated relationship with Mother's Day, but you still want to, listen to the classes, it's still an option for you. And if it triggers you and that's not a good thing for you, ignore all of that.
Jon Hosking and Liverpool FC will host an outdoor walk for Mental Health Awareness Week.
Yeah, I thought this was cool because you could actually, it's, I'm sure, way too late because it's taking place today. But when this first came out last week, you could snag a spot and go walk with them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really neat. And the LFC legend, Steve McManaman, I'm terrible at this. Well, anyway, he was going to be there with Jon Hosking and they were going to go together. And the theme of it was never walk alone. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Jess King and Selena Samuela have launched Floor Boot Camp 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, people... There's no electric boogaloo.
There should be, though.
A lot of people have been excited about this because people loved Flirt Boot Camp #1. So people have been looking forward to this for a long time. Selena has been kind of hinting that it was coming. So here it is. And I know people are super excited about it.
Means it'll probably be in the TCO Top 5 next week.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Peloton birthdays.
We only have one birthday this week. It's someone who was dangerously close to being deleted from the birthday list.
So close.
But He snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. It's Christian Vandeveld's birthday on May 22nd.
Happy birthday, Christian Vandeveld.
And we would have left him on there.
I know.
Because I do the old instructors. I am the keeper of the Peloton birthday calendar. As we discussed earlier in the show, just shedding the character that I play. I'm the secret mastermind behind the clip out. And it's one of the many tasks I undertake on a weekly basis. And I keep all the old instructors on there. So even if he had left, he would have remained on our birthday calendar. You okay over there? Mm-hmm. You don't look okay. It's pretty rare I get the real sour face during the podcast.
I just feel like we're doing a lot of celebrating about you.
Well, Mother's Day is over. Now we're gearing up for Father's Day.
All right.
Maybe we should just get to the interview. That's what I'm thinking.
It's a good idea.
Because we've already recorded the interview. That was back when you still loved me. So coming up after this, we're going to talk to Andrea Barber, a.k.a. Kimmy Gibbler, and Jodie Sweetin, a.k.a. Stephanie Tanner, from Full and or Fuller House. So stick around.
Checking in with the Peloton community.
Joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube, super excited to have Andrea Barber back. And this time she brought along with her the co-host of their new podcast, How Rude Tanneritos. It's Jodie Sweetin. Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hello. Thank you.
Hey.
So good to see you.
Great to see you guys again.
Oh, my gosh.
So good.
I can't believe it's been so long.
Yeah. Yes, we were trying to figure out. We think it's been 3 years since since the last time I was on the Clip Out. Although I've seen you since then in like your community Zooms and stuff like that. But yeah, took 3 years to get me back. But hey, now I'm here with Jodie Sweetin. So
Well,
it's 100 times more exciting.
You liked it so much you started your own podcast.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And
Crystal DM'd me when we announced it, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, you're starting a podcast!" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, what did I get myself into?" Yeah, it's a lot harder than it looks. It takes a lot of time, a lot of dedication.
Yeah, Andrea is really great at what she does and coming up with ideas and being just an amazing host. So she is in large part the machine that is keeping things going behind the scenes, because I forget to check my WhatsApp chat, and then like a week goes by and I'm like, oh my God, everyone's needing things. And then, so
this
kudos to AB. Yay.
This dynamic sounds very familiar.
Yeah, it does. I'm the doer.
I'm the
over
Jodie
here.
Sweetin of the Clip Out.
Every good partnership though, every good partnership needs that, because otherwise you have two people fighting for control.
Ooh, good point.
Or two people that are completely like fly by the seat of their pants, sort of, whatever. Like it's a good balance when like one person is like really like, okay, really the doing and sort of the organizing, and then one person's like, the rest of it, like, hand me stuff, we got this, we're running. Like it's sort of, I find that to be a good balance.
So
we're a good balance. Jodie's great at the improv, being funny, being witty. And I'm like, I'm out there. I have to plan everything out. I have to get my outlines and plan everything. And Jodie's just like, I'm going to wing it. And then she's hysterical.
Yeah. I just jump in and she's like, I need to know. I'm like, it's probably better if we don't. Or if I don't know.
This is eerie.
It is eerie.
Yeah. I'm just going to apologize. I literally, as we started recording, I have these incredibly horrific sudden onset allergy attacks, and I started sneezing like 5 times in a row, and I had to excuse myself. So I am currently holding in sneezes and trying to make it through, but we'll see how this goes. If all hell starts breaking loose and I can't stop sneezing, I will politely excuse myself and y'all can carry on.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. But we've been battling it this week. Andrea's been sick. I've been a mess. Yeah, we sound great. We really have great radio voices right now.
It's a terrible week to have ears. Like we just sound terrible.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, hearing about how you guys take your tasks and split them up, and since it sounds so similar to Tom and I, I'm very curious to hear how your personal relationship has evolved since through the years, Full House to Fuller House, and now you do this podcast together. So like, how has that changed over the years?
Oh man, it's I don't know if it's changed. I think we were very close on the set of Full House, like reliving these memories, doing this rewatch podcast. It's bringing back a whole lot of memories of growing up as kids, as little kids on the set. And we've remained close since then. Like it's just we're just getting more and more comfortable with each other.
And we shared a classroom too for years on set. So like Andrea and I we were kind of always around each other. Like you were, several years ahead of me, obviously in school, but it was like we were in the same environment, in the same room a lot. And our moms were close, and, we would spend lunches together and stuff. And we always enjoyed sort of our bits, throwing these barbs back and forth, because Steph and Kimmy were these sort of frenemy characters, but Andrea and I were really close and like loved each other and had so much fun. And with Fuller, like, oh my God, we got to have so much fun just with the ridiculous Kimmy Steph bits that we got to do.
That's awesome.
It's been great. So the podcast is really an extension of our friendship. We're just being ourselves and making fun of our teenage selves, our bad hairstyles, our terrible fashion sense from the 1980s. Yeah. I mean, we're just having a blast.
Well, here's the advantage, though, of having been on TV shows, that you can blame the hairstyles and the fashions on the adults in the room, right? Like you're like, well, I would have never done that. I would look amazing.
Says the man in a Muppets hoodie.
Yeah. We're trying to get one of our hairstylists.
First of all,
a
Muppets hoodie. Why? I like your Muppets hoodie. I'm a huge Muppets fan. So
she is.
Nice.
They're the best.
They are.
Speaking her love language.
Muppets are my love language. Yeah.
Have you guys ever done anything with the Muppets? Because it's ABC, and that was all tied together at one point, right?
The closest is that Scott Wanger wrote for the Muppet Show. He wrote for that show.
Okay.
But I just all I want is to be on Sesame Street. So I'm gonna put that out there. And that's my goal. I want to be on Sesame Street really bad. I want to meet Big Bird.
That would be
Andrea
amazing.
knows.
Are you worried?
I'm well aware.
Are you worried though it would ruin the magic? To like be
God no I've watched like all the documentaries. I literally am fascinated by Jim Henson and the Muppets. We could do a whole Muppets podcast, but that's not what we're here to talk about. So I'm sorry that I took this on a little sideline.
It's what we do.
Muppet winding road, but here we are.
This is what we do.
So that's good. So
this is what happens. Andrea plans to do a normal podcast, and I come on talking about Muppets.
So I always wondered, when a rewatch podcast is out of episodes, what's next? I guess you pivot to the Muppets.
Oh, that seems logical.
AB, you're coming along.
Oh my God.
Here we go.
How rude, Muppet Ritos.
Right.
We've got a while. We're only on season 2, and Full House went for 8 seasons, so we've got some time.
You do,
but it's time to plan out our Muppet podcast.
I think people will probably be sick of us before we get through the series. So we should be fine. I think we've got enough to keep us busy.
No, that'll never happen. People will not get sick of you. That's a lie. I am also curious. I saw you guys are already up to like 77 episodes. How many times a week are the episodes being aired? Do you guys always do multiple episodes a week?
We do. Yeah. Well, it varies. We started out just doing 1 a week, and then we're like, well, let's do 2 a week. Why not? We started the podcast right before SAG went on strike.
Right.
So we
not
launched
right before,
the podcast
the day of.
Yeah, the day
we're
of.
recording our first episode, and Fran Drescher was giving her speech. What are her speech about going on strike? We were like, oh no, now what?
Yeah. So we couldn't have we had all these guests planned, and we were like, okay, we have to pivot because we couldn't have guests on. We could talk about Full House because we were honoring our contracts with iHeartRadio.
Sure.
But nobody else was under contract, so we're like, all right, we'll save it until the strike is resolved. And it took about 6 months, but finally we're back in business, and now we've had all sorts of fun guests on, the whole cast at this point.
I saw that. It looks like you guys are having a blast when you go back and have these conversations especially with the cast. Is that real? You guys enjoying it as much as it looks like?
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
yes. We have no poker face. Like if it looks like we're having fun, we are having a blast.
It's true.
And we're getting to know our castmates even better because we're asking them questions like an interviewer would.
Yeah.
So we're finding out all these like backstories and background information about people we've known our whole lives, but we've never bothered to ask those questions before.
Yeah.
Like, how did you get started acting? What was your audition like?
Right. Or people that we worked with who were writers or producers or asking them questions about how did you get into the business? Things that you wouldn't think to ask when you're a kid. You're not necessarily going to have these conversations with some of your writers and getting to go back and do that and really find out some of the amazing, Hollywood history that they've been a part of and stuff that they've done. Like it's really neat to get to go back and appreciate and see all of the the incredible people that we got to be around and to grow up around and to be influenced by.
Yeah.
We had great role models on the set, and we had no clue just how important these people are. Like our studio teacher, Andrea, later, like she was Steven Spielberg's primary studio teacher for all of his films.
Yeah,
really.
And so we're just like she's such a great advocate for kids and women, and she's just no nonsense. She takes no shit, and she's just like, hey, I'm here for the kids. Yeah. I'm here to advocate for them. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's awesome, because obviously we've heard so much lately about how sometimes those environments aren't great for kids. So it's great that you have something that you can look back on and not regret.
Yeah, like be super positive.
Or feel bad about. Yeah. Regret implies that they did something wrong, but I don't mean it like that. But like that you feel bad about.
No, we had an incredible experience, and I think sometimes it's people are like, oh, what's it like to be a child star? And you're like, I don't know. I actually had a really great time and like grew up with really wonderful people. Like, sure, there's some things that come along with working as a kid, but like I think we're very fortunate that we were surrounded by such wonderful, warm cast and producers and crew, and our parents were always there. Like, it was a family environment. As much as it was a set, it was a real family, and it was a second home for sure.
Oh.
Can I ask a Bob Saget question?
Of course.
Yeah.
So Bob Saget obviously is famously in his stand-up was very raunchy and could get very dark. At what age did you guys figure out that he had that other aspect to his personality? Because I gotta assume in season 2 you're not seeing that side of him.
That's always been Bob.
He's like that when the cameras aren't rolling.
He's just as someone else who has a very dark and irreverent sense of humor, I appreciated it because I was like, oh, like you can be funny and say really, you know what I mean? Like he would just, and it wasn't like inappropriate stuff in front of kids, but he was sharp and witty and would go for like the thing to make fun of in the room. And it was so fun to watch. But yeah, and there were definitely times when it was like they would forget that the kids were in the building watching the monitors and backstage, and so they'd be doing some ridiculous shit on and the moms would be like, the kids can see you in their dressing room on the monitor, like we're watching the stage feed. So that was really the only times, but we knew Bob was a stand-up. That was how he started. That was who he was. Danny was a stretch, for sort of the, clean Danny Tanner-esque comedy that Bob did. So we knew who Bob really was. We weren't surprised.
Yeah, and when you're 10 years old, like you don't understand all the jokes, but you laugh anyways because you're like, oh, right. You want to be like part of the cool kids, and so
right.
I would laugh at his jokes even if I didn't understand them. I was like, oh. Yeah, I just pretend like I knew. And now we're like, oh,
right, we're like, oh, I get it. Oh, that's layered. Yeah,
that's layered.
Yeah. I went to the Laugh Factory for the very first time with Bob because I was very close with his daughters and would spend the weekend at his house. And so after a tape night, we were heading back to his house, and he went to the Laugh Factory to do a set. And so he was like, all right, you got to go with me to this. It's going to be like 15, 20 minutes, but you're going to have to sit in the back of the Laugh Factory. I was like, all right, cool. So I hung out at the Laugh Factory. I was probably 10, 9, and flashed him as, 10 and 5 minute light. And it was, and I got none of the jokes. I don't remember it, any of it other than being there and thinking it was really cool.
Aww.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So,
It is awesome.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
The first time I saw him do stand up, I was probably in my 30s the first time I saw him do stand up.
Oh, wow.
And he warned me, like, before the show, he was like, okay, I have a really off-color Kimmy Gibbler joke in my set, and I just want to warn you. And he was, like, really self-conscious about it. I think he ended up changing the joke because I was in the audience, and it was such a gross joke, and so he changed it the last minute and made it a little more PG. Yeah. That's just Bob.
I think
you
that
love him for all of his personalities.
Well,
Yes.
I think that underlying niceness is how he could get away with saying some of the things he did, because it just never played as real.
Yeah.
Right. You knew
Yeah.
Bob was not a bad, like Bob, and, after he passed, it was very evident, Bob was a wonderful human being and a wonderful person. And so everyone knew that he had this kind, warm, generous heart. So it was like, oh, let him be dark and ridiculous, because it's not who he is. It's just the part that he is able to make fun of the things that are really, just really dark and ridiculous. But he does it with such warmth, and then will give you a giant hug after it.
That's wonderful. I do want to switch gears a little bit. So, Andrea, are you still using Peloton? I'm assuming yes, because you've got your Peloton t-shirt on. You got your Peloton mug. Yeah.
I do. I have the shirt on, although I'm a little embarrassed because I've taken a long break from Peloton. I went so hard on Power Zone. Like last time we talked, I was doing the Power Zone Pack Challenge. And I was a team leader at that point. Like I became the team leader. I went so hard doing like 7 rides a week plus the extra credit plus managing.
Oh my gosh.
Plus making sure everybody was doing all their rides, like managing the Facebook page. I had co-leads too, so I wasn't alone. I had fabulous co-leads with me. But I did that for like 2.5 years. I went so hard without any breaks that when I stopped, I was like, I stopped. Like I stopped all Peloton for like, it's been months now. So I was like, I'm going to get back on the bike because I'm going to be on the clip out. So I've got to get back on the bike. And then I got sick. So I'm going to make a comeback. I'm going to come back to the Power Zone classes because I do love them. And I love Matt Wilpers. He's just the GOAT, He will forever be my favorite instructor. But I'm not going to do the challenges anymore because they changed the format. And I hated the new format. Ooh. So it used to be your team would all do the same rides and the same number of rides every week. So I was on a 4-ride team. So we would do the same 4 rides of the same length every week. And then it prompted a lot of chatter like, oh my gosh, that ride was so hard. Or, oh my gosh, this ride was easy. Oh my gosh, this was all zone 2. This was great. But then for some reason they changed it to make it so you could do, it was kind of like anything goes. You could do 3 rides a week. You could do 4 rides a week. You could do 2 runs and 2 rides. You can do 1 row and 3 runs, or, it's like they just added too many options. And so it just felt like less of a team effort and more of a bunch of people just randomly doing their own program and being on a team. So we lost a lot of the team camaraderie when the Power Zone challenges changed. And that also, so between that and my burnout, I was just like, I'm done. I'm done. So me and my co-leads retired as leads, and we stuck with the group, with the team a little bit longer. But then I was like, I'm going to take a break, and then I'm going to come back refreshed. So that's my plan.
Okay,
is to come back, to come back stronger than ever. But I love Power Zone classes. It is the best way to improve. Like if you really want to improve your, your what is it, VO2 max or whatever, all those buzzwords that Matt says. I'm like, I don't understand you, but you sound so great saying them. It's the best way to improve. Like you can actually see metrics. You can see yourself improving as you go along and take your FTP test every 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever it is. And so it's measurable success. And that was very motivating for me. So I'll get back to it. I'll get back to you, Matt Wilpers. Don't worry.
I have no doubt. Now, did you know that Team Wilpers now has their own Power Zone challenges as well?
No, I've been see, I told you, I'm so out of the loop.
Yeah.
Team Wilpers has its own Power Zone challenge?
Yes.
I hate to interrupt you guys. I have to run. I have a kid emergency at school.
Oh,
so
goodness.
I have to go. So I am so sorry between the allergies and this. But like, I love you, AB.
All right, I'll take it from here, Jodes.
Thank you.
You got it. Okay. I'm so sorry, you guys.
That's
All right.
okay.
It's okay.
We
Thank
got
you
kids,
so
we get
much.
it.
Yeah.
Yep, those kid emergencies, man.
I
Been
know.
there.
They happen. That's so, yeah.
Yep.
Kids will
Always
do
at
that.
the worst times, too.
Yes. Yes. But yes, Matt has, so Team Wilpers, you know, Matt has his own like group of different coaches that help people. They go around the country and they help people like set up their bike and fit their bike and do all these things. But they also started doing Power Zone challenges this year. I think it's been this like within the last 12 months. So that might be something for you to look into just because it's a little bit different than how it was done over on the Power Zone pack page. So it might be fresh and exciting, you know?
Oh, well, I'm definitely going to check that out too. Yes, I would. Oh my gosh. And if there's a team aspect to it, I love being on a team and, you know, encouraging each other. That is just, it's so, you know, the community, that's what it's all about. It's about community and keeping you accountable and getting you motivated to stay on the bike. So, oh, good. Yay. Okay. Team Wilpers, go. I'm going to check it out.
So now that Jodie's gone, you can tell us what you really think of her.
Yeah, let me tell you what I really think about her. Yeah, I haven't done a ride with Jodie yet, and she rides more than I do at this point.
Really?
Until I get back on. Oh yeah. She loves Alex. I think she loves Alex. Who's her favorite? I don't know. I'm going to say Alex because she's not here. So Alex is her favorite instructor. And yeah, I don't think I could get her to commit to a Power Zone challenge because that's a little, you know, it's very time intensive.
It is.
But yeah, we got to do a ride together. I've done a ride with Candace because, you know, Candace has a Peloton as well. So I've done rides with her, but she's very competitive. So, and I had been training so hard with the Power Zone classes that she was like, "Oh my gosh, you kicked my butt." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's Power Zone. That, you know, you get stronger every time." So, yeah. So I've done a couple of rides with Candace. Still need to do a ride with Jodie. Scott Weinger has a Peloton too. He plays Steve, DJ's boyfriend or husband now, I guess, in Fuller House. He was her husband. So he has a Peloton. Marla Sokoloff, who played Gia on Full House and Fuller House, she has a Peloton. We should just do one big group ride, like one big Full House group ride.
You
that would be amazing.
absolutely should. Yeah. You should like team up with a charity and raise a bunch of money because people would go nuts to ride with you guys all at the same time. Like that would be.
Oh, that's such a good idea. Yes. Okay. Yeah, the wheels are turning.
Now I can see
the wheels
them.
are turning.
I know as the guy who does nothing and just throws in jokes, I know the look. That's what you look like.
You're still not on the bike, Tom? Like it's been 3 years. You're still not on the bike.
I'm still not on the bike. Although, if I
thought you were working out. I thought you were like, hey, I'm going to start working out now.
I am. I use the tonal. We have a tonal. I don't know if you're familiar with
you do the tonal.
I do
Okay.
the tonal.
She's a little disappointed.
I can tell. Believe me, I know what a look of disappointment from a woman. I'm very familiar. And
you're very familiar with that.
Yes, very. And that was what that was. Yes. But no, I do the tonal.
I can't believe it.
But I've lost like what?
70 pounds.
60, 70 pounds and yeah.
Wow.
You can't tell because I got a Muppet hoodie
That's
on.
amazing.
But yeah.
Well, everybody's got to find their thing. So, okay, if tonal's your thing, I'll accept that answer. But next time I'm on the clip out, I want to see you on the bike. Like that's going to be my instead of a rider or contract,
it's in your rider.
I'll be like, no, Tom needs to get on the bike. You want me back? Tom needs to get on the bike.
Oh no. I'm really concerned now. I don't know that I can make him do it.
Well,
Wait,
if it
he's
makes
really
you
that against it? Oh my goodness.
If it makes you feel any better, I still hate working out.
Yeah.
Like people talk all the time about like, how much they enjoy it and the endorphin rush. I get none of that. I just keep my head down and I do it, but I get no play. I like the results, but
right.
But the actual process of doing it,
no,
still not my thing.
Well, that's okay. It's just about consistency. That's even more impressive. If you don't like working out,
Yeah.
but you keep doing it, that's my hat's off to you. That is very impressive.
That is so nice. That is so uplifting that she
It
just
is.
said she's
And
like a
I
little
am
cheerleader. I
I'm
love
jealous
that.
of the people who enjoy. I wish I did,
I know.
but
He does. He
But I
does. He
don't.
says that all the time.
Well, that's because you have to try the bike. You have to try the bike, and then you'll enjoy it.
I hate cardio.
Seems obvious to me.
Every time the tonal makes me do something that's even remotely cardio related, I'm like, oh, this is awful.
He does. He
I hate it
complains
so
about it
much.
so much. It's funny.
Oh man.
I know you've taken a break from the bike for a while. Have you been doing any other kind of activity, like anything just even as a stress reliever? I'm just curious. There's so many classes you could take.
No, trust me, I know. No, when I tell you, when I went hard and then I stopped, I quit everything. I've been sedentary for months now. And even my therapist is like, exercise is an important part of your therapy. And I'm like, I know. So I've been stressed out. I've been stressed out for the last 4 months. And everyone, my boyfriend, my kids, they're like, hey, it's time to get back on the bike. Like they can tell a difference when I'm routinely working out versus when I'm not. So this is the kick in the pants that I need. This is this accountability right here from the clip out.
It was meant to be that we could have this conversation. We're gonna have you back on there, and you're gonna join Team Wilpers, and you're gonna do a Power Zone challenge, and you're gonna end up probably a captain
exciting.
over there. Here's right what's gonna happen.
Hey, if they'll have me, I will totally be a captain of that team too.
And she'll have her Full House charity ride.
Yes. It's all kinds of things happening.
This just seems like a perfect fit right here.
You mentioned talking to your therapist, which made me think that last time we talked, you also talked a lot about anxiety. Specifically, you introduced me to Headspace, the app, and I have used that since then because I also struggle with anxiety. But I'm curious, has that kind of like gone through an evolution, your anxiety, since you aren't working out? I know it makes a difference for me too. And so stress is part of it, but also anxiety kind of comes with it. And I'm curious if you're experiencing some of that too.
Oh, completely. Everything seems more stressful when you're not getting that physical release from exercise. So yeah, stress and anxiety go hand in hand. Like I can't have one without the other, or one usually causes the other. But meditation is great. I don't remember recommending Headspace, but yeah, that's a great app. And then Peloton came out with meditation. So, now I just do meditations on Peloton because that's fantastic.
See, you're still doing workouts on Peloton.
Well, okay. Don't look at my workout history though. You have to promise not to. That's the
mine.
thing. Everybody can see it. I've got a public account so everybody can see that I've fallen off the wagon. But yeah, no, I'm going to start working out in secret, and I guarantee my family will be like, what's different? What's changed? Mom is way more relaxed now than she used to be.
That's how I did it.
In secret.
Worked out in secret.
You weren't really stressed though.
That's true.
Yeah. It's kind of annoying. Maybe that's why he doesn't like cardio, because he doesn't get stressed. Not that he never has bad days and has moments, but like it's not like you and I are talking about where you have that you feel better after exercise. It doesn't change his level.
that?
He's just like chill all the time, and he falls asleep easily.
Yeah.
I know, right?
It's delightful.
Wow.
Yeah, I will say I read your book after we spoke.
I did too. Yes.
And
Thanks.
and yeah, like you talk a lot about struggling with anxiety and stuff, and I'm just like my brain is weird, but it doesn't do any of that sort of stuff, thankfully.
Yeah.
Like I
read it and went like, yes, I get all of this.
Yeah, but I was
all
like,
of these
but
things.
this sounds like Crystal. So it is so fascinating to see how similar your podcasting dynamic is with Jodie.
It is.
Like,
really?
It is identical to how we operate. Like she does all
You have an organized one and a disorganized one.
We always
an
joke,
improver and then a planner.
Yeah, that we always joke that she does all the work and I'm here for the dick jokes.
Yeah, literally. If when we first
You're
started,
such the Jodie, Tom.
Yeah.
You are the Jodie of this podcast.
when I send him I used to send like a list of questions for everything, and he would like go off script, and I would be like, "What are you doing? Like, we have this list. I made this list of questions," and he's like, "I'm winging it."
I was like,
I'm like,
but
what?
the person we're talking to said something that I wanted to respond to, like, and that was, she was like, "No, we asked question 3 now." And I was like, "But then we're not
the list, right?"
Yeah, but I'm
Took
like,
me a while to get off of the list.
but then we're not listening. You finally have a man who listens.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Let's not discount the fact that he's actually paying attention
I know.
and listening.
I know.
These are important skills. Okay.
But I thought it was funny when Jodie mentioned about not responding to the WhatsApp. We have a Slack channel that I don't even remember the password
Oh my
for.
God. It's
Like,
so annoying. We have like a whole team of people that write all of these articles and do all these things. And like, he'll be like, they'll be like, "What does Tom think about this?" And I'll be like, "I don't know. I'll have to show him my phone because that is the only way he will know that you are talking to him."
Yeah.
Yes, that's the same. I will text Jodie and be like, "Jodie, check the chat. Like, you're missing out on important things. They need your input."
This is
Same.
This is the
Same.
ghost of Christmas past. Right
Oh boy. Well,
But that's good. You know, you don't want to do a podcast with somebody who's just like you and has the same strengths and weaknesses.
that is
Like
true.
you need balance. And so Jodie and I balance each other well. And you guys obviously balance each other so well that, it makes for a really funny and successful podcast. So I love it. I'm here for it.
And we're just grateful that you didn't start a podcast about Peloton.
Oh yeah, that would have been heard. Like just
That would have been, that knife in the back, right?
Yeah.
That would have been, I would have been a traitor. Heck no, man. No, you guys have a monopoly. You're the only Peloton podcast, in my opinion. So,
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
So I have a question. You did a movie last year, a Christmas movie for the GAC network. I was just curious what that was like to like have something that's built entirely around you instead of an ensemble, which is where you're more used to residing.
Oh yeah, that was a trip, man. I was so outside of my comfort zone. It's just because it's such a different, acting is acting, but it's such a different format doing single cam, such as the movie, versus multicam, which is how you do a sitcom. And it's just, oh my gosh, it's a world of difference. Like I could spend an hour just describing the differences, but I've just learned that things are so much more, like effective, or like time, like it's just quicker and more efficient to do a multicam on the same stage, on the same set with, 4 cameras, getting all the angles, and you can just, bang it out in a few hours in front of an audience, and that's it. But then you switch to single cam, and it is excruciatingly slow because you're not on a stage, you're in an actual house. And so they have to like set up each shot. So if it's a single on me, they have the camera up and we do the scene, a few times. It's just on me. And then they have to reverse the image and go behind me and then shoot the person that I was talking to. So it just takes forever to do all these, the setups.
Wow.
So I had to learn a lot of patience, very long days. And it was my first project where I was number 1 on the call sheet, which is a huge honor and so much pressure. But I felt confident about it. I was like, okay, I can do this, and Candace was right there with me. She was producing the movie. So I was like constantly on the phone with her saying, hey, what do I do? Tell me, like, what is this? I had so many questions for her. So yeah, it was great. I spent almost a month in Canada, just outside of Vancouver, just with an all Canadian cast. I was the only American. I felt really good about it. It was a lot of work, like a lot of work. You're doing 14-hour days. Wow. And then by the time you get home at night, it's 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and you got to learn your lines for the next day. So, there's not a whole lot of sleep during the week. You recover on the weekends, and then you start it all over again on Mondays. So, it was a great experience. I would love to do it again. And yeah, it's a lot of work, and it was hard being away from my family for 4 weeks too. That was probably the hardest part. The kids were not happy. The kids were like, "Mom," it just threw off their routines.
For sure.
And my daughter got pink eye for the first time when I was in Canada. So she's like, of course I get pink eye when you go to like she blamed her pink eye on the fact that I was in Canada.
On Canadians.
No, yeah.
So you said you had to learn your lines for the next day. Are they making that many script revisions, or is that just the process of like you just work on the day that's in front of you and then you move on to the next day?
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. So you only tape, oh my gosh, like 7 pages a day, or like 4 scenes a day. It's like, that's how slow it is. And sometimes if you have to change locations too, that takes even longer. So yeah, I was just memorizing like 3 or 4 scenes a day, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're doing it every night and you're running low on sleep,
yeah,
you know, it's challenging. So yeah, no, it wasn't, the script was never rewritten. Like that's the crazy thing, is I got the script as I was flying up to Canada, and it never changed after that. So that was different. I'm used to rewrites. I'm used to alternate lines.
Yeah.
Like in sitcoms, they rewrite while you're taping.
Yeah,
like,
they're always punching up jokes.
The audience, they're like, that joke didn't work.
Yeah.
Let's put a new joke in there. No, there weren't many jokes in the Christmas movie. It was a lot of, some sensitive scenes and some sad scenes, and then some happy, jolly Christmas scenes. So, yeah, not too many. You didn't have to have the same rhythm and beats like you do in sitcoms, where you have to hit, certain beats, and the jokes are kind of like a rhythm. You have to feel it.
Yeah.
Feel the comedy. Anyways, yeah. So it was a great experience. It was fantastic.
Are there any more of those in your future?
Not right now. No, we're still kind of recovering from the strike. Like that put all the plans
makes sense.
On pause. So the business is slowly coming back to life. There's not a whole lot in comedy right now, so I'm just kind of like biding my time doing this podcast, and then we'll see if Christmas movies come up again in the future. But right now, no, nothing's on tap for this year. Maybe next year.
Gotcha.
You going back to the podcast, you mentioned that it's a lot of work that you might have been a little surprised at how much work it is. Has it kind of become your full-time job at this point? I mean, I know you're focused on that while you're but like how much of your time do you actually have to spend on the podcast? I'm curious how it works. I figured you had people to do all the things for you.
Well, we do. I mean, we have great producers. So yeah, they're doing a lot of the work too. They're scheduling the guests. They do all the technical stuff and the scheduling. But no, I do spend, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a full-time job, but I do spend a lot of time, more than I expected, because I thought, I'll just watch this 22-minute episode of Full House and then I'll be ready. But no, we go through scene by scene. We describe each scene. We say some of the lines, because then we talk about like character arcs or, character growth, or we make fun of ourselves, or we're like, what, the A storyline isn't really working. They should have made this the B storyline. So we're kind of breaking down each scene and analyzing it, as well as making fun of ourselves. So, so there's a whole breakdown. I make notes. If we have guests, after I'm researching these guests, I'm watching past movies or shows or whatever they've acted in or written or produced. Because I want to know about them. Like, it's genuinely interesting for me to learn about our guests, but I also want to be able to ask the best kind of questions without, I don't want to ask the same questions that they hear on every single interview. You want something different, something fresh. So, yeah, so it's great. So yeah, it's a lot more work than just 22 minutes the night before. It's fun. It's great having a say and making suggestions of like, hey, I think we should do it this way, or I think we should have these guests coming up. A lot of the guests, they're like, hey, we can't contact this person. Do you have their phone number? And I'm like, oh yeah, let me text them real quick. So it's been, so far it's been easy getting the guests because they're all of our personal friends.
Right.
It's just Full House cast members mostly.
We have to stalk them on Twitter.
Writers thrown in there. So yeah, it's been so much more fulfilling than I expected. Just because I have such a greater appreciation for the show that I didn't have as a child.
Sure.
Growing up on the show.
Of course.
I mean, it was a job, but it was also like this was my second family. And I didn't really think of the show as its own entity. Like, I never watched the show.
I was going to say, how much did you really watch the show? I would, we don't listen to these episodes.
No.
Like,
once we
move on
have
to the
this
next one.
conversation, we've moved on. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And in my head, I'm like, well, of course you watched the show, but of course you didn't. That also makes sense. Like, yeah. Oh, wow. I've probably watched more than you have. Because I've watched all of them. Sure. All of them.
Jodie had never seen a single episode of Full House before we started the podcast. And I had seen a handful. I've seen a few dozen, but not. We did almost 200 episodes of Full House, so no, I haven't seen a majority of them. Partially because we were so busy filming the show that I'm like, well, I don't want to sit down and watch it. And also, we were doing our live audience shows on Friday nights, and that's when the show would air. And this is before streaming and before, like, you had to get out your VHS tape and put it in your VCR and press record, set your timer. It was so archaic. And I think my dad did that, though. My dad has a whole bunch of VHS tapes of all of my episodes of Full House. So he's got that somewhere in a basement somewhere.
That's
I don't know where it is.
That is amazing.
But yeah, I just never thought to watch it. So I am watching the show and I'm like, wow, some things really hold up. Some things don't. But overall, I get it now. I'm like, oh, I see why people were so drawn to this family, to the Tanners. I get it now when people are like, I feel like I grew up with you. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. Like, the audience is like an extension of the Tanner family. It's great. It's wonderful to see. It's wonderful to see this non-traditional family, these 3 girls raised by 3 men who, some of them don't even know what they're doing. They've never diapered a baby before. So it's a little bit like 3 men and a baby. It was sort of built on that type of premise of like these idiot men don't know how to diaper a baby. It became a lot more than that, obviously. But yeah, it's been a trip, man. It's been a trip. I'm loving it.
That's
I love
wonderful.
it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us again.
So much.
This
so
has
much.
been a blast.
Yes.
And
Anytime, of course. I know I didn't. I'm going to give Jodie grief for for having to tap out. But yeah, no, thank you for inviting us to be on the Clip Out. I love you guys so much. You're just so kind-hearted and warm and welcoming, and I just love you guys so much. So
well, right back at
always
you.
We'll come back anytime. Whether or not Tom gets on the bike, I will come back anytime. I'll come back for Crystal, not for Tom.
Thank you.
That's how most people do it, to be honest. So that's fine. But before we let everybody know where they can find the show, where they can find your socials, Jodie's socials, your leaderboard name, Jodie's leaderboard name, if she's comfortable with that, all that sort of stuff.
If you have that.
Sure. If you
don't, it's okay.
Yes. There's a quiz.
Okay. No. Well, I'll start with the professional stuff. So you can find our podcast, How Rude Tanneritos, on Instagram at How Rude Podcast. That's pretty simple.
Sure.
And there's an email in there somewhere. I don't know. I think that's the best place to. I think we're on TikTok. I don't know. I don't do TikTok. I have to ask my teenager to help me. Like, she had to create an account for me because I didn't know how. Anyway, so yeah, go find us on Instagram, How Rude Podcast. You can find me there, Andrea Barber, or Jodie Sweetin, which is just Jodie Sweetin. And then my leaderboard name, I might have changed it since the last time I talked to you guys. It's Spinny Gibbler with an underscore. So it's Spinny _ Gibbler. I tried to get just Spinny Gibbler, but somebody already took that name.
How rude!
How rude!
Yeah,
literally.
Like, you're gonna get so many followers, like this woman in Toronto who has Spinny Gibbler. So I'm Spinny _ Gibbler. So yeah, please friend me, and you can see. Keep me accountable. Keep me accountable, please. And then I don't know if Jodie is public or private, so I'm not going to say her name because I just don't know. I didn't ask her before this, but yeah, just go ahead and friend me, and let's do a Power Zone challenge together.
That's fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
We do. Thank you very much.
Thanks, you guys.
So I guess that brings this episode to a close. You can look forward in a future episode to our one-on-one with Jodie Sweetin, since she had to bow out for family stuff. Mm-hmm. Everything was okay.
Yes.
You were concerned.
Yeah.
Don't be. Everything turned out okay.
It did.
But we would talk to her in coming weeks. But until then, where can people find you?
People can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe. And they can also find me on all the socials at Clip Out Crystal and the Peloton leaderboard at Clip Out Crystal. And
you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert, or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/The Clip Out. While you're there, like the page, join the group. And of course, don't forget our Patreon, $5 a month. You get ad-free episodes. You get a bonus episode every week. And we like you a little extra. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep pedaling.
And rowing.
And rowing.